crazy, them crazy.
Making it big in music is like the lottery. Sometimes you get your one big win. Other times you search for your big win to no avail. Remember Desmond Dekker's Israelites or Boris Gardiner's Elizabethan Reggae. Songs like Scotty's Draw Your Brakes hit #1, and subsequent songs from him did not receive the same massive recognition as his first hit. These artists might have become one-hit wonders, but they created songs that people loved. These songs continue to hold relevance and nostalgia. Do you remember these artists? Well, ready or not, let's take a trip down memory lane, listing 12 reggae artists with one big hit. #1, Desmond Dekker's Israelites.
Down and out, I mean, the next day, you know, busted, you haven't got any breads and things like that, you know. Say, well, you call yourself.
You might know him as Desmond Dekker, but he was born as Desmond Daiquiri on the 16th of July, 1941, in Kingston, Jamaica. He may have never realized that his big break would come from one song. He lost his parents as a teenager and started working as a welder. During this period, his colleagues noticed that he could pull off a good tune. Their comments on his singing made him open to auditioning for Leslie Kong. This audition later led to a long-life collaboration between the two. His song, Israelites, blew up in 1969 and entered the US Billboard Hot 100 within the following year. It peaked at #1 in the United Kingdom. It was one of the first reggae songs to reach such international success. Listeners could not understand all of Dekker's lyrics, but what mattered was the rhythm and soul it conveyed. The song was sung in patois and spoke of the story of poor working-class Jamaicans who struggled to survive. He compared their hardship to that of the Israelites in the Bible. The Israelites opened the doors for more Jamaican music to flood radio stations in America and the UK. This song helped more international music scenes realize that Caribbean music could hold its own in the global space. Regardless of the Israelites' success in the global scene, it was difficult for Dekker to create another song that rivaled the success of the first. He had other hits in Jamaica. Some of them had little chart success. He created songs like It Mek and You Can Get It If You Really Want. They were nothing close to Israelites. The song's popularity began to decline, but it experienced brief periods of revival in the late 70s and early 80s. It was clear people loved this song. However, Dekker could not make anything like that again. It didn't stop him from music, though. He continued to record music and performed for a considerable period. He is a major force in the reggae community. He toured regularly, but he struggled financially. He was declared bankrupt in 1984, but it couldn't stop him. What eventually did stop him, though, was a heart attack on the 25th of May, 2006. It happened in his home in Thornton Heath, London, England. He was 64 at the time, and he was preparing to headline the World Music Festival in Prague. He was buried at Streatham Park Cemetery, and the world mourned the loss of a Caribbean giant. He made an immense impact in the industry, and continued to establish his presence on the international scene whenever he had the opportunity. #2, Boris Gardiner's I Wanna Wake Up With You.
I wanna wake up with you. I wanna lay by.
Up next is Boris Gardiner. He was born on the 13th of January, 1943. He was born in Kingston, Jamaica. He was a very talented bass guitarist and songwriter. He worked behind the scenes for a long time and was a member of several music groups during his time. He made a name for himself as the genius who helped create a bunch of timeless records. He was more known for his expertise than his singing. In 1997, Boris released Elizabethan Reggae, and its international blow-up was unexpected because it was only an instrumental. It had a catchy melody that appealed to listeners and stuck in their minds before they could pay attention to it. Despite the success, Boris did not experience another big blow until 16 years later. It is one of the longest gaps between hit singles in music history, and no one apparently saw it coming, probably not even Boris himself. In 1986, he had a big comeback with I Want to Wake Up With You. It was a cover of a country song written by Ben Peters. This romantic song was a bit different from what he was used to. It was more polished and appealed to mainstream listeners. It was produced by Willie Lindo and went to #1 on the UK singles chart. It stayed for 3 weeks on the chart and, like most one-hit wonders, could not sustain this level of commercial success. The song gradually faded, and all attempts to return to the charts with any other song failed. Although the song became the third best-selling single of 1986 in the United Kingdom, a great feat for a veteran reggae artist who had been absent for a long time, it was reduced over the years to a thing of nostalgia. Boris Gardiner has never again gained such international acclaim, but he continues to perform and record music. He is now in his 80s. His work has been featured in various films like the 2016 Moonlight and the 2017 Finding Your Feet. It introduced new generations to his music. His work in the reggae industry remains evergreen. Number 3, Scotty's Draw Your Breaks.
Telling a lie. Good gosh. And I tell you that the sexy girl.
David Scott blew up as Scotty in 1971. He was born in 1951 in Westmoreland, Jamaica. He studied at Kingston Technical High School. Then he formed a reggae trio with his friends, Valman Smikey and A.J. Franklin. His breakthrough came when he started working with Derek Harriott. Derek noticed that he had a talent for disc jockeying. It was a slightly new art in the early 1970s. He developed a unique singing style known as the Sing-Jay style. Draw Your Breaks was a remade version of Keith and Tex's Stop That Train. It became Scotty's biggest recording. It was part of the soundtrack for the film The Harder They Come. With the film, the song got more recognition, and everybody seemed to love this new DJ style of music. It was infectious and catchy. However, despite the success of Draw Your Breaks and its exposure through the film, Scotty never achieved another hit of this magnitude on the international stage. He kept working with Derek Harriott until 1972. He tried working with other producers and continued to perform. The initial excitement of his one big hit declined. This did not stop him from making more music. His success as an artist remained confined to Jamaica. There is no doubt that his success as a Jamaican DJ on the global scene inspired and opened doors for many people. Scotty, unfortunately, passed away on the 27th of February 2003 in Jamaica. He was 52 at the time. Although he is known globally for Draw Your Breaks, his influence on Jamaican music extends beyond that one track. Number 4, Dandy Livingstone's Suzanne Beware of the Devil.
Sure looks pretty, big city, nighttime.
Dandy Livingstone was born Robert Livingstone Thompson on the 14th of December, 1943. He moved to England from Jamaica as a teenager in 1960. The relocation opened him to the cultures of the British. He became a prominent figure in British reggae, working as both a performer and a producer. His musical career began to kick off in the early 1960s. He recorded several songs, and they began to gain attention in Jamaica and the surrounding Caribbean. He had minor successes like A Message to You, Rudy, which he recorded in 1967. However, none of his songs achieved the kind of success that Suzanne Beware of the Devil did. The song was a warning to a girl named Suzanne about a dangerous man. It had a compelling reggae sound and reached number 14 on the UK singles chart. It became Dandy's biggest hit. Radios played the song regularly, and the catchy melody latched onto everyone's mind. The timing was perfect. There were more immigrants and people were beginning to grow interested in reggae music. Dandy became a big figure in the British reggae community. He enjoyed this newfound success, but unbeknownst to him, it was difficult to maintain. He tried to make more hits like it, but it proved abortive. Life moved at a rapid speed, and trends faded like minutes. After his chart success declined, Dandy continued working in music. This time, he focused more on production and worked with other artists. He helped develop the careers of other reggae artists and provided valuable insight when needed. He never stopped recording his own work, but his days of international success were gone. He began to maintain a low profile, but occasionally performed at reggae events and festivals. His song, A Message to You. Rudy gained more recognition when the specials covered it later in the 70s. He is now in his 80s and lives a fulfilled life. His legacy as one of the pioneers of the British reggae industry lives on. Number 5, Dave and Ansel Collins' Double Barrel.
And I'm still here again.
Dave and Ansel Collins were a Jamaican vocal duo that took the international music scene by surprise. Dave was born in Franklintown, Jamaica, in 1948. He gained popularity for his DJ skills and vocals. Ansel was a well-known keyboard and organ player. Their collaboration was the perfect match. Their breakthrough hit was Double Barrel, and it blew up in 1971. It reached #1 on the UK singles chart and grew popular in other countries. The song carried such dancing energy that it was almost irresistible. The rise of Double Barrel was impressive. Mainstream audiences loved it. Due to the increasing Caribbean immigrant population, it has become increasingly receptive in foreign areas. It received extensive radio play and became a fan favorite at the club. Anyone who might have struggled with the patois lyrics was lured in with the instrumentals. After this song, they made another hit called Monkey Spanner. It was not a match for Double Barrel, but it was a hit. It became their last hit. Despite the promising start, the duo was unable to maintain their momentum. They suffered greatly from internal conflict, and even worse from the pressures of the music industry. They eventually split up, marking the end of their partnership. After the split, they both tried to pursue solo careers. One of the toughest things, apart from achieving success in the music industry, is surviving a breakup. The history books have shown that sometimes it just doesn't work. Davis continued working as a DJ and recorded more tracks. None of them made the same level of impact. Ansel continued to work on his instruments and collaborated on many songs with other people. They are both active in the Jamaican music scene, but that brief moment of international stardom may never be regained. The popularity of Double Barrel declined after it had run its course. Various artists have sampled the song over the years, and it now stands as a classic in Jamaican music. Dave Barker experienced various personal challenges in subsequent years, but continued to perform occasionally. Ansel Collins maintained a more consistent presence as a session musician. Number 6, Greyhound's Black and White.
The ink is black, the page is white.
Greyhound was a reggae band formed in the United Kingdom. Its members included Danny Smith, Freddie Notes, and Glenroy Oakley. They were part of the British reggae scene when it became the new rave in the early 1970s. Caribbean artists blended Jamaican traditions with British flair, and this fusion was widely loved. Their biggest hit was a reggae cover of the Three Dog Night song, originally written by David Arkin. They gave the song a reggae makeover, placing a more relaxed rhythm instead of its original pop rock arrangement. The lyrics emphasized racial unity. It said, "The ink is black, the page is white. Together we learn to read and write." It was released in 1971, a period when Britain was experiencing racial tensions and debates about immigration. The positive message and reggae beat were the catch. Many people fell in love with the sound. Radio stations publicized it, and it became an international hit. It achieved major success, reaching number 6 on the UK singles chart. Greyhound had clear vocals and used polished production. This song made the group more popular, and they went on to perform shows around Jamaica and beyond. Their next cover was Moon River, and it reached number 12 on the UK charts. Many thought the band could maintain their success, but their hopes were dashed as the popularity of both songs began to decline rapidly. Trends have a very short lifespan. Greyhound continued recording and performing throughout the 1970s. They released more albums and singles. They could never make another hit like their first two. The band members began to get interested in other musical projects outside the group. Freddie Notes eventually returned to Jamaica and established a successful career in the reggae music scene. Danny Smith and Glenroy Oakley continued to release music, but it never gained significant popularity. The band went through various lineup changes over the years and eventually disbanded. They revived briefly to perform their hits and carried on with their lives as they appeared. The members of the group have mostly retired from active music work now, but the message they passed on with Black and White remains forever relevant. Number 7. Judge Dredd's Big Six.
All right, get ready. Here we go.
Judge Dredd was the stage name of Alexander Minto Hughes. He was a white British reggae artist who seemed like an oddball in the reggae space, as Caribbean people dominated it mainly. He was born on the 2nd of May, 1945, in Brixton, London, England. Minto worked as a professional wrestler, bouncer, and debt collector before embarking on his music career. These job descriptions required him to adopt a tough guy persona. He adopted the name Judge Dredd from a Prince Buster song. It made him appear as a stern, authoritative figure on stage. Minto made music that pushed the boundaries of what was acceptable on the radio. His lyrics were usually intimate and suggestive, using quite explicit language. His big break came with Big Six in 1972. It reached number 11 on the UK singles chart. True to personality, the song was filled with intimate innuendos and double meanings. It was quite controversial among the audiences, but it was also very popular. Judge Dredd had succeeded in making a regular reggae rhythm with British humor in its lyrics. In the 1970s, Judge Dredd was the rave in the UK. His other songs couldn't get airplay on the radio. They got more and more explicit. Songs like Big 7, Big 8, and Je t'aime, moi non plus all made the UK charts. However, that was the only place his popularity spread. His music was concentrated in the United Kingdom. His songs maintained their popularity for a long time, demonstrating the enduring power of record sales beyond traditional promotion. His live performances were legendary. He was just as enticing on a track as he was on stage. With time, his popularity began to decline, and punk rock emerged as the new genre on the block. His time on stage was coming to a close. He performed till the 90s, but not with the same intense popularity. He maintained his provocative style and toured regularly for audiences who enjoyed his classics and stage presence. It was nostalgic to sit in the crowd and watch him perform. Tragically, Judge Dredd suddenly passed away on the 13th of March, 1998. He was performing on stage at the Penny Theatre in Canterbury, England. He suffered a heart attack during his act. He was 52. His end came while he was doing what he loved, entertaining an audience. He never really got respect from music critics. He was a rebel, but Judge Dredd has a special place in reggae history. His sense of humor would have made him a fine stand-up comedian. His records are an anticipated find for fans of 1970s British reggae and ska. Number 8, The Pioneers' Long Shot, Kick the Bucket. The Pioneers were another Jamaican trio that caught the notice of the global music scene. The group was formed in 1962 and went through several lineup changes. The most famous lineup consisted of Sidney Crooks, Jackie Robinson, and Glenn Adams, Desmond Dekker's brother. Later, Sidney and Derek Crooks led the group. They were pioneers in the development of reggae music. They found a way to transition ska and rocksteady music into reggae. Long Shot Kick the Bucket might sound quite funny for a song title, but it worked at the time. It was released in 1969 and turned into their biggest international hit. Although they had been successful in Jamaica for a while, this was different. The song told the story of a racehorse named Long Shot, who died during a race at Caymanas Park in Kingston. The phrase, kick the bucket, is a British expression for dying. The group blended their harmonies so seamlessly over the reggae beat. The song reached the UK Top 40. It made it to number 21 and grew increasingly popular among the British. Radio stations played the song constantly, contributing to their success in the UK market. They had another song as big as this one, titled Let Your Yea Be Yeah. It reached number 5 on the chart in 1971. That might have given their fans a lot of hope that they would be able to maintain their energy when it came to chart-topping songs. They were in for big disappointments. Their next releases failed to match the success of their first hits. By the mid-1970s, their international presence had vanished as if it had never existed. Like most musical groups, there were internal tensions, and the music industry contributed to their commercial misfortune. The Pioneers continued recording and performing throughout the 1970s and afterwards. Over time, the group underwent further lineup changes. Some members decided to do solo projects, while some joined other groups. Sidney Crooks continued leading the Pioneers through all the changes. In recent years, the Pioneers have performed occasionally at reggae festivals and revival shows. Sidney Crooks has done his best in maintaining the legacy of the group. Some original members have passed away or aged. Long Shot, Kick the Bucket will always be a part of Jamaican culture. It took reggae and Jamaican storytelling across borders, influencing many musical groups and artists over the years. Number 9, Nicky Thomas's Love of the Common People. He is quite popular as Nicky Thomas, but he was born as Cecil Nicholas Thomas on July 30th, 1949, in Portland, Jamaica. His musical career started when he was only a teenager. He recorded for various producers in Jamaica during the late 1960s. Thomas had a soulful voice. His reggae style had some American influence. His big break came with his 1970 cover of Love of the Common People. It was originally written by John Huxley and Ronnie Wilkins. Several artists had previously recorded the song, but Thomas's reggae arrangement gave it a fresh sound. His version featured a more relaxed reggae beat and told the story of a poor family's struggles. Love of the Common People became a major hit. It reached number 9 on the UK singles chart, and it introduced Thomas to a broader international audience. The song received a lot of radio play and became a club favorite. After this hit, Nicky Thomas positioned himself with the confidence of a breakout star. Sadly, that was all he became. He struggled to find another hit like the first. He released several follow-up singles, including God Bless the Children, but they failed to achieve the same commercial success. The competitive music industry and changing trends ensured that the winning tables were constantly changing. Not too long into the 1970s, his presence on the charts had diminished significantly. He did not stop making music. He continued working with producers from Jamaica and maintained a following among reggae enthusiasts, but mainstream success eluded him. Financial difficulties and personal challenges significantly impacted his career. Despite his fall, he continued to perform wherever he was called. He heralded the reggae industry proudly until his unfortunate death on the 15th of February 1990 in London. He was only 40. He was suffering from depression and personal issues at the time. His passing affected a majority of the reggae community. He had made an immense impact during his little time on Earth. Many artists have covered Love of the Common People, including Paul Young. Number 10. Bruce Ruffin's Rain.
I can feel a feeling deep inside.
You might know Ruffin for being the artist who blended R&B and soul with traditional Jamaican music. However, he was born on the 17th of April, 1952, as Bernardo Constantine Balderramos, and started his career as an 11-year-old Jamaican friend. He had a mature voice that misled listeners into thinking he was older than he actually was. He quickly gained attention in Jamaica, and everyone noticed he showed great promise. By his late teens, he had become a recognized artist. His big break came through in 1971 with their hit cover, Rain. It was a song originally recorded by the Foundations. It was originally a soulful, melancholic ballad. They replaced its melancholic tune with a gentle reggae rhythm. The production was radio-friendly and got a lot of plays. Rain held a simple message. It told a story of love and longing. The song reached number 19 on the charts. Ruffin had the time of his life, basking in the waves of a breakthrough. He appeared on television shows and performed at venues that had previously been closed to reggae artists. After Rain, he released Mad About You. It got some acclaim and reached number 9 on the charts. Then, it experienced a painful fall down the charts. No subsequent releases could match his past success. By the mid-1970s, whatever success he had faded into oblivion. He continued to create more material. He kept up with performances. He never abandoned his passion for music, even as mainstream recognition disappeared. He worked as a songwriter and producer, helping younger artists achieve their own big industry breaks. Bruce Ruffin will probably always remain connected to the music scene. He is in his 70s and occasionally performs at reggae festivals. Rain is his most recognized song and continues to maintain its status as a classic. Number 11. Ken Boothe's Everything I Own.
Kept me warm, kept me warm.
Ken George Boothe was born on the 22nd of March in 1948. His recording career kicked off in the early 1960s. Ken had a voice that made him stand out in the crowded Jamaican music scene. To be a notable artist in Jamaica at the time, one had to possess something that set them apart from the rest of the crowd, looking to make it big and attend fancy parties in Hollywood. Between the 1960s and 1970s, he recorded many songs, and most of them became popular in Jamaica. An international breakthrough came in 1974 when he recorded a cover of David Gates' Everything I Own. David happened to be a part of the band called Bread. Lloyd Charmers turned the song into a reggae ballad, and everyone seemed to love it. Unlike the instrumentals that often take center stage in most reggae songs, Ken's vocal performance was the focal point. The song sang about loss and love, and many listeners could not believe it was a cover. It was such a hit on the UK charts that it reached #1 on the UK singles chart in October 1974. The song also charted in other countries. His success was unexpected, yet remarkably so. Despite the breakthrough, Ken also found it hard to escape the curse of being a one-hit wonder. His follow-up singles failed to match the success of his first hit. The song's popularity gradually declined, and by 1975, Ken had disappeared mainly from international charts. The challenge of finding material that could satisfy both his needs and the industry's demands was difficult. The industry quickly boxed him in. Ken Boothe never really stopped making music. He continued to create songs that gained popularity only in Jamaica. He toured regularly around Europe and Japan. Everything I Own was eventually covered by Boy George in 1987 and introduced Ken Boothe to a whole new generation. He continues to make significant contributions to the reggae community. Number 12, John Holt, and the Paragons, The Tide is High.
I'm gonna be your number one. I'm not the kind of man who gives.
John Kenneth Holt entered the world as a Jamaican on the 11th of July, 1947. He began to exhibit some musical talent at a young age. He won his first singing competition at age 12. Over the next 4 years, he won 28 more singing competitions. And this made it clear to everyone that he was not just some boy nudged on by his parents to make it to Hollywood. He truly had talent. These winning experiences gave him confidence, and the experience served him throughout his career. In 1965, John joined Bob Andy, Garth Tyrone Evans, and Junior Menz in a group called The Binders. Later on, they became the Paragons. After a lineup change brought in Howard Barrett, the group had big dreams. They had a 28-time winning singer. They couldn't go wrong. However, something always goes wrong when it comes to musical groups, doesn't it? The Paragons became one of the most successful groups in the rocksteady era. They first recorded with Clement Dodd's Studio One before moving to Duke's Red Treasure Isle. Working with Duke Reid from 1966 to 1968, they created a bunch of hits like Alibaba, Tonight, and I See Your Face. These songs made them stars in Jamaica. Their global success was anticipated. Nothing broke across borders until The Tide is High. The song was written by Holt and recorded with Tommy McCook and the Supersonic Band. It was a rocksteady love song that brought John Holt's talents to the forefront. The song gained popularity in Jamaica and among Caribbean communities worldwide. The group disbanded in 1970, and John Holt went solo. He recorded many albums as the years rolled by, but nothing matched the success of The Tide is High. His solo work did not live up to the reputation of his vocals. A new band called Blondie covered their hit song, and it became a huge success in the United States and the United Kingdom. Many listeners began to listen to the original, which brought John Holt back into the limelight. In 2002, a British pop group, Atomic Kitten, also covered the song. It entered #1 in the UK, and this time, it had become a certified classic. John never stopped making music. He released over 40 albums and was revered for being one of the finest vocalists in the reggae industry. He toured and maintained influence until he passed away on the 19th of October, 2014. He was 67. He was greatly mourned, and his loss created a gap no one could fill. He may have never achieved international success as a solo artist or in a group. That may not be what he was meant to do. His music had a profound impact on artists. Trying not to become a one-hit wonder is a lot of work, and the industry fights against the artist's will not to be a one-hit wonder. Which reggae artist evokes a nostalgic memory for you? Share your thoughts in the comments section, and do not forget to like this post, share it, and subscribe to this channel. Before you go, watch the other videos on your screen.